Everybody, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Get Past Your Shit Group Coaching Intensive, part 1 of 6. If you didn't already go get the PDF of the coaching workbook, please do. Even if you're just going to look at it while we're together. But like best case scenario for me, you would be writing in it. So if you don't have it, grab it. This group coaching program was designed as a complement to the Get Past Your Shit book that I wrote with other women. It was published in 2020. I don't know if you've gotten your hands on the book. There is a Kindle version. There is a free chapter on the website at Get Past Your Shit. My story is there. But you will recognize many names of the other women who contributed, like Melissa Brown, one of our Stretch Yourself Challenge team leaders, along with Michelle Garrett, Pam Hamilton, Tisha Lee. Lots of people here that you will know. I encourage you, if you haven't read it, to like dig it out and read some stories, because it really does prime your mind to realize what I'm talking about when I say get past your shit. If I were going to bundle up if I were going to like say something about get past your shit to somebody who had never heard of it, didn't know why I would want to have a cuss word on the title of a book, I would tell them that we all have shit that we are letting hold us back. Fears, insecurities, dusty old programming, shitty circumstances, and stories that we hold on to and tell about ourselves again and again and again. This group coaching program is designed to help you identify your shit and then choose some that you're going to get past. But spoiler alert, shit doesn't go away. If you came here thinking, oh, Kelly's going to fix me, Kelly's sweet little coaching program and her adorable little doodled pages, they're going to solve all my problems. And at the end of this week, I will have no shit anymore. I will only smell roses. Like, if that were your concept at all, let's just shake that off, because I have so much shit. So much shit. But I get past it every day to create more and more of what I want. So, yes. So the first thought, I want to share a little story with you. Some of you guys are familiar with one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Macy. Macy is my 19-year-old niece. When she was born, her mother had PCOS and couldn't get pregnant on her own. So she got assistance from a doctor who gave her shots, hormones that forced her body to ovulate. And she became pregnant with twins. And those twins made a very early entry into the world at 26 weeks. Macy and Chloe were born. And in the first 12 hours, Chloe passed away from a brain bleed. And Chloe was the stronger twin. So everyone held their breath and waited for Macy to pass as well. But she didn't. We spent the next 3 months or so preparing ourselves for her death. Because again and again, the doctors said, there's too much going on here. They said her heart is too weak. She's going to die. Her lungs are too weak. She's going to die. She had to have surgery to remove a section of her intestines. She was going to die. Just one situation after another. We're just waiting for this tiny baby to die. But I already told you she's 19. So she had to have multiple surgeries, including surgeries on her eyes and her ears, because once they stopped telling mom and dad that she was probably going to die, they told them she was going to be blind and probably be deaf. And so surgery on her eyes repaired that issue. Surgery on her ears and subsequent surgeries and hearing aids. Macy is a very productive, effective member of life. Macy was, on top of being born super tiny with a touch of cerebral palsy, Macy also was born with her thumbs weren't connected. It was floating thumbs. And she had a cleft palate because it didn't finish filling in. So Macy's had multiple surgeries to repair different situations in her life. If you meet Macy today, she's had a surgery where the thumbs are removed. Her index finger has been sliced down and shifted over so that now her index finger acts like a thumb. So she's got, this long thumb, this long, slender thumb and 3 fingers. And more scars. She has so many scars on her body. Macy, I remember when Macy was about maybe 9 years old. This is before she had the surgery on her hands. We were in a swimming pool, and there was a little girl that she wanted to play with. And she turned to face me. She just got like right here. She's like, I want to go play with that little girl, but what if she asks me questions about my thumbs? I said, she probably will. So tell her you were born with funny thumbs, but you still like swimming. She was just like, got it. And off she ran and played with that little girl for the next hour and a half in the pool. Macy is a miracle. She has an amazing attitude. She has graduated high school. She's going to Lansing Community College. She's working part-time at the college, working part-time at Meyer now. She's driving, and she has a boyfriend. And, this is too much information, but she has a boyfriend. This breaks us because what? How did our miracle baby live this whole life all the way up to college and a boyfriend? Doesn't she know how much shit she has to deal with every day? Doesn't she understand? She fucked up, right? Like, her body's covered with scars and she's a little bit clumsy because of the cerebral palsy and her head tilts a little funny. And, you know, the shape of her mouth makes her grin like kind of weird. And hello, she's like only got 3 fingers. Like, doesn't she know she ought not be living this full, rich life? Because come on, there's so much shit going on there. She's my hero because she could say, I can't go to college. She has an executive functioning disorder. And that means she takes things very literally. I told her once, I told her she was playing with a Nintendo once, and I said, well, that was foolish. And she stopped everything and looked at me and said, did you just call me a fool? I was like, no, I didn't. No, I said this. And she's like, I'm sorry, but what I hear is you just called me a fool. Like, that's how her brain works. You can't tease her about things because her brain, you know, by the time it goes through the Plinko part of her executive functioning disorder, she's going to hear something pretty different. And so you have to count your words and what you say. And you cannot joke with her when she's 6 years old and tell her you're going to hang her up by her toes and tickle her. She's going to stop and look at her toes and say, I don't think they'll hold me. Like, that's her beautiful brain. But she doesn't let anything get in the way of creating the life that she wants. She goes where she wants to go. She does what she wants to do. She loves her boyfriend. And she blows my mind. I could tell you a few more stories, and I probably will this week, about other people who have boatloads of shit that any one of us would say, that's a lot of shit. That's a lot of fears, insecurities, shitty circumstances, dusty old programming and stories. And like when it comes to Macy, like that's a whole body you're operating in that gives you shit every day. Every one of you would tell her, it's okay, honey, if she decided not to go to college. You would say, it's okay, honey, if she decided not to date. You would say, it's okay, honey, if she decided what she really needs is, you know, to not really go for anything in life. But she's a walking invitation to the rest of us to say, whenever I think about giving myself a get out of jail free card, whenever I think about saying, well, I'm not going to do that hard thing because it's hard, I think about Macy. And I think about, oh my God, like the shit she deals with and gets up and does anyways. In a way, it invalidates my shit instantly, puts things into perspective, and gets me moving. But I don't want to suggest that by telling you about Macy that I'm invalidating your shit, because we're going to validate all your shit this week. That's part of the process of getting past it, is acknowledging that it's there. Okay. So, first thing, so fears, insecurities, dusty old programming, shitty circumstances, and the stories we tell. This is our shit. And on this page of your workbook, it says you need to know this. And I just want to read this out loud. When you begin to face your fears and insecurities, your self-protective mechanisms, ego, may work in the most sophisticated fashion to think, but my shit is special. But the thought doesn't quite form like that. You just start to think things like, but my experiences are harder. My circumstances are tougher. My fears are deeper. And my insecurities are insurmountable. When you find those thoughts beginning to form, and they will, what's happening is ego is trying to defend your limitations. And in a way, it's saying your shit is special. And what you want to know is that it's not. All the defensive ideas are coming from ego, and it's normal. If we didn't have self-protective instincts, we'd all be dead. As mentioned beautifully in the book, ego gets overpowered and works against us when it tries to protect us from doing what we're meant for in life. So let's remind ego that it isn't in charge. I want you to say it out loud and write it in big letters in this space. If you've got it printed out, or just write it on a piece of paper somewhere, or type it into chat. Say, my shit isn't special. My shit isn't special. Trisha. In the book, the very last chapter is by Therese Sparkins. And this isn't a story. This is a coaching chapter. And I really, really want you to read that. I need to ask her to record that for us. I think that would be amazing to have that chapter recorded. Say, my shit isn't special, but understand that as we take a look at shit, it is our natural self-protective tendency to say, but you don't understand what I've been through. But you don't understand what I'm dealing with. Everything about us. Ego just works so hard to protect us and make us feel good about ourselves. Illegitimately. So, I want to thank you for deciding to participate in this program. My goal for you is to help you identify limitations so that you can create more of what you want in life and in your business. I know that we're here together because we're content creators, and we all have something we want to say and do and be in the world. We want to create ripples of change, but we don't get ripples of change until we are ripples of bravery. So it's so exciting to have you here with me and to know that you're brave enough to show up and participate in this. When people bare their souls to tell honest stories, it creates ripples of incredible brave actions all around them. And the ripples have reached you. In this program, I'm going to lead you through activities to coach yourself, even if you're not participating in the live group coaching intensive. Hello, replay viewers. Watch the videos. They provide context for every page of the workbook. So I want to find out, before we go any farther on this page, I'd love to hear from every one of you if you're willing. What's one thing you do right now if all of your reasons not to were behind you, what would you do right now if there was absolutely no shit standing in the way? You can unmute or you can type. You can say pass.
I'll go ahead and go. I'm not quite sure what I want to say. I would say if I had no shit, I'm uncomfortable with saying that word even, right? So that's part of mine. Um, but I would say that if I didn't have any of that in my way, I'd actually have accomplished the things I want to accomplish. I'd have them done. I'd be moving on to even greater things. So I know that I have huge limitations, and I'm not sure why yet, but I know I have huge limitations. So I wouldn't have those limitations. I would, I won't, I don't want to say that I will have succeeded, because I think success is ongoing, but I will have accomplished many things that I've wanted to do for so long and continue to put off.
Thank you, Lynn. Lynn, you're always so brave. It can be business, it can be personal, it can be anything. It could be I go skydiving. It could be a coaching program. It can be anything.
For me, I'm similar to Lynn. If I didn't have anything holding me back, I would definitely launch my coaching business and my business tomorrow. But every time I think that I'm just about ready, there's something that goes on in my head internally. There's something that goes on outside of my control that makes me just shrink right back and say, you see, this is not going to work. I'm not going to be able to do this. I can't get past my crap, So I think this is a really good coaching intensive that allows me to see it for what it is, and I love that story of your niece, Macy, that really helps me to see everybody have crap. Everybody has situations that they're going through. And if I put mine in perspective with Macy, for sure, I mean, what am I complaining about? So I like the idea that you first have to validate it, acknowledge it, just say that it exists, recognize that it exists, and then just build up the courage to face it and get past it and move on, and then be successful despite whatever obstacles or crap or terrible situations you might be feeling with, whether it's within your control or beyond your control. There's always something that we can do to take a baby step forward, which empowers us in the end.
Yes. Thank you for that. Helen says, send out more emails, scream out my membership from the rooftops, do more live coaching sessions. Stephanie says, speak my mind more, do live things, participate more during Zooms. Terry says, I would have written Chrissy's story and be coaching other families on my similar journey and creating a meaningful life in spite of our limitations. Yes, Terry, if I were less emotionally scarred by this process of creating a book, I would do version 2. And I would love your story to be in here. How do you raise a special child and still keep creating your life? Like everyone has so many stories that could have filled this book. Like there's 19 stories in here. There could have been hundreds. But there's, some people are ready to tell a story and some people aren't. But there's so many more stories to tell. Back when we were planning this book, I was thinking about a series of books, and I was thinking about breaking it up into here's business stories, and here's relationship stories, and here's family stories. In the end, I got that became very overwhelming to me. And so it became just the one book. But I think what's amazing about what you're saying, Terry, is that if you could get past your shit, you'd share your story farther and wider. And then you would be sending ripples out into the world to reach other mothers and fathers of children. And there's a gentleman, Tisha's going to know who I'm talking about. There's a gentleman I met a couple of months ago. He has a son who's autism. And when he was telling me about, his son, he's like, I have a son who will never leave home. This is life, is that I am dad. And it colors an entire life. It colors hopes and dreams and changes goals and requires adaptations that most of us have no clue about. And so for if I were to have the opportunity to speak to a room full of moms and dads with a special child who's never going to leave home, or will always need to be in some kind of a protected environment, I could stand up there and say, y'all need to get past your shit. And they're all going to be like, what the hell do you know about it, Kelly? You don't know shit. And I don't. I did have a special needs brother that died when I was 28, who never left home. But I'm still just a sister. I still don't know shit about what my mother experienced. But if Terry stands up on that stage and says, y'all can get past your shit about what's happened in your life and in your child's life and still create something for yourself, then their hearts are open because you understand. So I hope you do. I hope you identify the particular piles of shit that stand in the way of that happening so that you can put it behind you day by day by day. And, obviously I'm really comfortable saying shit, but you can say crap. You can say fears and insecurities. You don't ever have to swear just because I do. Is there anyone else who hasn't told me what they would do if they didn't have any shit standing in the way?
That'd be me. I would speak and reach out confidently to share the message about my program for women with MS. I wouldn't let the fatigue and the fear stop me.
Nice. Tisha, you asked a question. How do you get past yourself being a limitation? Mindset, I mean. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. Like fears, insecurities, dusty old programming, shitty circumstances, and the stories we tell ourselves. That's mindset. So that one thing you do right now, if all your reasons not to were behind you, I just want to take a moment. Can we just take a hot minute, close our eyes, and imagine doing it? Imagine you've just gotten up on stage in front of those parents, Terry. Imagine that you've just sent that email to everyone you know. Just imagine you've just done that thing you've been holding yourself back from. And then notice. Is the shit gone? It isn't. It isn't gone. Listen, this is going to border on too much information, but you deserve it. I just had the best sex this weekend. And it was the first time in 30 years. I've been single, not dating. Well, dated a couple times. Single, unattached for 30 years. And my fears and insecurities about my body kept me out of the game. And I started dating again, and I started to go to work at short circuiting my fears and insecurities about my body, all the way up to having sex. That's all I'm going to say about it. But when I close my eyes and I think about this weekend, was I still fearful and insecure? Yes. All the way up until the moment that I saw him. I was scared shitless. And then I wasn't anymore. We don't create what we want because the shit disappears. I am still 56. I still used to weigh almost 400 pounds. I still have way too much sagging going on all over the place. I've still had 2 babies and multiple abdominal surgeries. I still have shit about my body. And it didn't stop me. It will not fucking stop me. And that whatever your shit is in whatever area of your life, this coaching program is not about vanquishing and erasing the shit, because I don't know how to do that. I only know how to love myself enough to take the next step anyways. And yeah, like, especially when it comes to my body, I've done tons of mindset work around my body. I love my body. I adore and I'm grateful for my body. I don't have as much shit about my body as I used to. And I have projected insecurities about how someone else is going to see me. So what I want to do next is turn to the next page. It's the limitation brain dump. I want to write down all the ways that you limit yourself. We're just going to do this page together today. And then I really want you, I'm going to hang out for a while. There are more pages. The limitation brain dump is several pages long. But to just be sensitive about our time together, I want to write some things here. So what do I want to do that I hold myself back from doing? And for this, I want you to be specific. So don't say I'd promote myself more. Say I'd email this person and ask them to collaborate with me. So, what do I want to do that I hold myself back from doing? Just start. A brain dump is not perfect. A brain dump is just a messy old dump it on the pagers. What would you do that you hold yourself back from doing? Would you start a podcast? Would you hold a challenge? Would you go to the gym? Would you call up your neighbor and ask her over for coffee? Like, seriously, anything that comes into your mind. Just start dumping things out. We're just going to like hold 3 silent minutes, and then I want to hear some of the things you've written down. Thirty seconds more. All right. What did you write down? Helen, send out emails at least 3-4 times a week. Add all my courses in those emails and not be afraid to self-promote. Reach out to the hundreds of affiliates who've already signed up to my affiliate program. Tell them of the wonderful memberships I have for them to promote. Reach out to bigger affiliates and ask them if they would promote me. Very specific list, Helen. What else do we got? What'd you write down?
I wrote down a ton of stuff, so it's really hard to pick just one. And this is a personal one, but I wrote down take a solo train trip.
I want to take a train trip. I'm mad that you want to take a solo train trip. What else you guys got?
I wrote down, I would email 5 personal contacts and invite them to my initial offer that I worked on during the challenge. And I would also start sharing what I do with my personal contacts and my family members.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else want to share? Connie says, make phone calls to ask people to promote my program, get out and hike regularly, ask for what I need instead of always putting others first. Yes. Did you read my email this morning, Connie? My son went to the tire center and had it looked at and they ordered the tire and he took my credit card, and tomorrow morning it just has to be brought back to get the tire and all is good. And instead of stressing out, I took a nap today. Like, yeah. Christiana, what would you do?
I kind of have something along the lines of Darlene talking more about what we're doing. Like I always see these people doing like behind the scenes. And I think it's personally very interesting, but I have no idea. Like sometimes when I post it, I'm nearly thinking, oh, I shouldn't be doing this because I should probably rather be working on whatever I need to work on. But I think it's good for people to see the behind the scenes because it makes them curious about the final product. I don't do that enough. I always feel it's not super intriguing, but then at the same time I think I agree with Darlene, maybe just sharing it more with people what I am actually working on and not thinking that it is boring or you know, people might actually be more curious about it and they might actually purchase it.
Yeah. Well, people like to be in on the journey. So,
Yeah.
yeah. What are you holding yourself back from doing? Has anybody not told me the thing that they want to tell me right now? Carrie, personally go through and organize and reduce my stuff, work out regularly, be more consistent with Chrissy's therapy and activities. Business, make bold statements, speak my mind, write my book, teach. I wrote down something. I got clear. I'm in a coaching program right now with Dr. Melissa Pete. And part of that involves meeting with a cohort, another member of the coaching program, a couple of times during the month. And when we met this last week, we were focused on her coaching business, what she needs to do. But a couple of thoughts came into my mind. I'm like, ooh. I wrote down, I want to be a mindset coach. I am a mindset coach, but I want to reach out to my marketing coach friends and ask them if they would allow me to visit, to be like a visiting mindset coach to their community. For example, Cindy Bedar, amazing technological strategic marketing coach. I love sending people to her for strategy and marketing, like specific strategic technical how to. You don't want to learn that shit from me. You don't want to. Like, I succeed in spite of myself. That's what's true about me when it comes to technology. But I want to go to Cindy and say, can I be your guest mindset coach? Can I come into your community and just coach your people for free? Can I just come and offer sessions and just be a support? I want to do that with Cindy. I want to do that with a bunch of people. I think it would be fucking awesome. I think that I want to do that. So I wrote that down. That's a new idea. So I don't have a bunch of shit built up against it yet, but I will. You know, I will. The closer I get to actually like calling her up and saying, hey, I want to do this, ego will be, but wait. But here's why that won't work. So, the other thing I want to do is fishbowl coaching. I have done fishbowl coaching in the past. I want to do it again. And I have ideas, but so I'm writing down the fishbowl coaching. I know that will also stir up a bunch of shit because it always, fresh ideas always stir up shit for me. Is that a bowl of ideas to discuss? What is fishbowl coaching? Okay, so fishbowl coaching is essentially, let's say Helen, let's say you wanted to coach with me for 3 months. And you wanted to meet with me every week, implement the ideas that we come up with together, come back for feedback, fine tune, come back, fine tune, come back, share results, get ideas for what's next. Let's say you wanted to do that with me, 3 months of that coaching. If we were doing that kind of intense 3 months, sister please coaching, it's $10,000. Would you like to sign up? Now, fishbowl coaching is that, except that I invite my entire community to come watch me coach you. So it's like you're in a fishbowl. Helen's in the fishbowl. Her business is everybody's business now. They see me dig into all her sales pages and rip into all her numbers and give her all the feedback and ask her all the questions. And everybody in the community pays an amount of money to be in to see it all. And thus Helen doesn't pay $10,000. Helen is actually scholarshiped by everyone else's payments. How cray-cray is that? If 100, let's see, 100 people paid $35 a month for 3 months, that would be $10,500. Would you pay $35 a month for 3 months in order to see and hear everything? Knowing that it's supporting somebody's project. Kind of a scholarship. Helen's over here going, no. She didn't say, I'm in. She didn't say, I'm in. I don't even know if Helen's a good choice for something like that. But that's fishbowl coaching. And it's super fun. Like, you know you'd love to experience that kind of coaching. To have my hands in everything you do for 3 months could be transformative. And $10,000 is not just sitting there on the coffee table for that kind of a decision today. Helen's like, I just don't want to be that naked in town square. Right. Okay, so write that down. That's some shit right there. Because I don't like to use the word should, but as a marketer who's growing a community and wanting to attract collaborative partners, you ought to want to be naked in town square. The fact that you don't want to be, if you ask yourself, why don't I want to be naked in town square? There's your shit that's going to pile up. I don't want people to see me being criticized. I don't want people to see my mistakes. I don't want people to see me resist Kelly's advice. I don't want them to know how many customers I have. I don't want them to know what my conversion rate is. That's all the shit that's standing between you creating what you want. And that's not to pick on Helen. That's just 20 years as a business coach. I know what the shit is. I've done fishbowl coaching. I've been fishbowl coached. I've had my ass ripped open wide in front of my mastermind by my coach 3 times in 1 year. You get real fucking cozy with your shit when you're paying somebody 20 grand to rip your business up and put it back together. Connie's like, I'd do it. Terry, I would do it. Okay. It's almost 2:00. We're gonna be done. But listen, this is what you're gonna do. Please stay with the book for the next little while. The limitation brain dump continues with prompting questions. What do I say I'm not ready to do? What have I claimed not to want that I actually want a lot? Where have I given far less effort than I'm capable of? When have I followed the crowd when I had a different desire? When have I wanted something but not spoken up to ask for? What have I done that I never want anyone to know about? What do you feel you lack? What other limitations come to mind? What physical limitations do I have? What titles and labels do I apply to myself? Please stay in the book and put something in each of these bubbles, because that's where we're going to pick up in tonight's session, is what else came up during your limitation brain dump. Write it all down. You don't have to send me a copy. You get to choose. You get to pick and choose what things you decide to bring for conversation. So that's what you're going to do next. I am going to stop this recording so that it's not more than an hour. So replay people will see you in session 2.